Hey you, and welcome. In this video, we will learn about template literals. We're going to use template literals to bridge the gap between JavaScript and HTML. So far, the code that we have been writing in JavaScript has been in a terminal or a console environment. That's why we haven't seen much of HTML being written or browser. But now we're going to change that by using template literals to render the browser HTML. So let me show you what I mean by that. First, let's take a look at our setup. I have the VS Code open on the left-hand side. In that, I have the HTML, which is just a simple HTML document with a UL and li elements being used. So there's an unordered list, and each item from the bottle that we have been writing before, the object, I will get the ID, size, and color. And that's what's rendered on the right-hand side, which is the browser. And in the browser is just rendering it out. And in the console, I have the console open as well. I can see that there's an object with the size, color, and ID. I need to put that object onto my HTML. And this is coming from an index.js file, which is in the script tag underneath in the index.html. The index.html has index.js referenced in the script tag. And if I go to index.js, that's where I have the class bottle. And the constructor assigns the value that I'm passing to it. And I'm instantiating the bottle, assigning it to a bottle variable, and then console logging that. All right, so that's the environment so far. Now let's see how we can use template literals to render something on the HTML using JavaScript, because JavaScript's function on the web stack, which is the HTML, CSS, and JavaScript. HTML would be the presentation layer, CSS would be just to make it nicer and better looking, whereas JavaScript would be the interaction layer. And that's how we will interact with HTML. So first thing we have to learn about is the document. So if I go to the browser, for me to target the whole HTML, I have to use JavaScript. And in JavaScript, there's a global variable called the document, which is the entire HTML. And I can target specific things in the HTML at that time. So if I go back to index.html, there is a body tag. So if I do document.body, notice that my browser shows that I'm targeting that in a UI way. And if I press enter here, it shows me the full body right here. Perfect. Okay, let me just scroll up here. Okay, perfect. And then there's the inner HTML for that body. And that's where the whole UL element, li elements exist. So I could change the body by putting the inner HTML to whatever I would like. So that's what I'm going to do next. I'm going to clear this out first. All right, document.body inner HTML would be equals to something else. There we go. I've changed it. So that's how we are going to target our HTML body and use template literals to make our own HTML as we execute. So what we'll do first is take away the UL li from our HTML. I'm going to cut that out completely. Save my page. Perfect. It's empty now because that document inner HTML that I ran before was in the console. It's only there until the next refresh, and then page has refreshed. That means it's gone now. And then in the body, I don't have anything except for just the script. Now index.html in here, I will call document.body.inner HTML equals to, and I'm going to start a template literal. Template literal starts with a tilde or tilde key, however you would like to pronounce that. It's the backtick, which is usually under the escape key of your keyboard, and then I'll end that line. So that's starting a template literal. I'll put a new line break and paste my content that I copied over from the HTML there. And let's indent that a little bit to make it look a little nicer. There's no indentation using IDE in the template literal because every space in the template literal actually counts. So IDE cannot make a judgment for you whether you want those spaces or not. So you have to opt into that yourself. That means manual indentation. Great. With that, I will go ahead and save, and our content should render. So that's how we will use JavaScript to render content. Now, how do we use our bottle constant to start populating that value? So I'll have to use that in here. In the template literal, when you want to use JavaScript inside the string, you have to use $, curly braces, and curly brace close. And inside the curly braces, I can provide the value that I want to work with, in this case, bottle.id. Save that, and we can see ID is equals to 1. I can even put space in the beginning to make it look a little nicer, and we have to do the same thing for the rest of the properties. So in this case, size, color, save. There we go. Perfect. So that's how we use template literals in JavaScript. I'll see you all in the next video.